Engineer Hashemi, the series where partial discharge concepts are explained step by step. Today's episode topic is about methods for PD detection and measurements. The first method for partial discharge measurement is electrical. Based on the IEC standard 60270, you measure partial discharge electrically. It is the base method to detect partial discharge, and it is sensitive compared to other methods. The second method is acoustic emission, or AE. AE is one of the most classical method of detection of partial discharge in high voltage assets. Indeed, partial discharge creates some phenomena, and by detection acoustic emission or other effect due to partial discharge, you can detect the partial discharge in dielectric and insulation materials. The third one is ultra high frequency or UHF based PD measurements. In power transformers, GIS, GIL, sometimes you use the UHF sensor to detect partial discharge. There are some advantages for UHF compared to other methods, and there are some disadvantages due to complexity of the testing equipment or installation of that. In next episode, we explain each of them by details. The fourth item is UV camera. In overhead lines and in the asset that you install in the outdoor and they are visible, you can detect partial discharge by UV detections. Optical measurement is another approach to detect partial discharge. In GIS and GIL or other high voltage systems, you can detect partial discharge directly by the light that is created due to the partial discharge and activity in the dielectric and insulation materials. Indirect methods are used to detect partial discharge also. Sometimes by RTD and temperature sensors, you can identify partial discharge. Methods may be not non-sensitive compared to other approaches that we explained. Sometimes you measure the resistance, and sometimes you measure the tone delta and dissipation factor of the dielectric. And by indirect methods and approaches, you can identify partial discharge in the high voltage systems. Plus other methods. You hear about the DGA and some results about partial discharge and overheating in high voltage asset like power transformer. In some cases, you detect ozone around the high voltage asset and you can detect the partial discharge. And these methods are case by case different for different asset and high voltage equipment that you have. Today, we discussed the topic of measurement of partial discharge and different methods. We listed the most important methods to detect partial discharge. Thank you for watching.